Hi, I'm Charlie Graves. I'm standing in Athletic Republic's world headquarters in Park City, Utah. As we move through our 30th anniversary and into our fourth decade of operations, I reflect back on my first meeting with our founder, John Prapir. It was in Fargo, North Dakota in 2006, and I was immediately impressed with John's ability to convey his ideas and translate them into athlete performance. He had been the first person I had met that was able to teach speed, build power, and enhance agility in a way that every athlete got the right workout every time they trained. His individualized approach allowed every athlete to improve their neurologic, metabolic, and their muscular development so they could achieve their goals. It was a profound approach, so profound that I came back to Park City and decided with my partner to buy the business. And in 2007, I became the CEO. One of the first things we did was change the name to Athletic Republic because we wanted to create a community, a republic of athletes, trainers, and owners that were all united around a common goal: to improve performance. Over the years, we've expanded on John's wisdom, expanded our training curriculum so that we could scale the business and help our trainers deliver a better athlete experience. We've expanded the business operating tools so that our owners could concentrate on the business of training athletes and connecting in their communities rather than worrying about the systems they had to run. We created marketing and sales programs so that we could reach out into the communities and connect to the soul of the athlete and help them understand how we could help them improve their performance. And we've grown. We're now 85 training centers across the world, including in Japan and Australia and South Korea. We've now trained over 1.5 million athletes and delivered over 100 million workouts. This program that John Prapir started has been a tremendous success, and I've been pleased to help keep it running for these last 30 years.
And it's hard to believe it's been 34 years since John attended the Goodwill Games in the Soviet Union in 1986, and he came home with a vision. I recall shortly after he got back from the games, there were several of us that had gone out to eat, and John was passionately telling us about his idea on how to increase an athlete's sprint speed using a treadmill. And at one point he even grabbed a napkin and started to draw diagrams and formulas and I don't know what else to further explain in detail his concept. And it wasn't long until he was training athletes on a small and what is now a very obsolete treadmill and seeing some very encouraging results. It's actually very surreal that a vision John had 34 years ago has stood the test of time. Cheers to 30, take care, and stay healthy.
If I look back on my 25 years of experience with acceleration products to Prapir Acceleration to Athletic Republic, what really sticks out are three things: results, impact, and influence. I think the philosophy that John had that I learned as well is to take a systems approach and understand that if the body can move well and the athlete can move well, you can create an environment to optimally load that athlete and improve performance in a number of areas. But I think more importantly, there's two other things that stick out, not just the results. Impact. The impact that training at that level has on an athlete is quite profound. You see, literally thousands of kids over the years that have improved their performance, but also the confidence that it's instilled in them from working so hard has made it them more resilient to not only improve their career in sport, but also in life and what they're doing in business and long term. And then I think the influence that it's had, the network especially has had on professionals at all levels over the last 30 years is quite impressive. One thing that really sticks out to me is the unbridled passion that we all had as a group of young professionals working to help athletes get better. And so I wish Athletic Republic continued success, and I know that that will be there as long as the goals and aspirations are still the same within the network.
I think after having just a great senior college football season, to be able to be a young person and to get into a role, a dynamic, a fluid role with a small company who's experiencing growing pains then, to see it grow and to flourish. And, over time, I think we started at 6, and when I left, we had sold somewhere around 160 licenses then and franchise operations when I was done participating as an employee. I think one of my greatest privileges was a mother who called me early on, probably in '95, and said to me, hey, my son has been struggling in life, and he wants to make the junior varsity basketball team, and had been unable to do so. So I'd convinced her to have her son participate in our Phoenix location. And long story short, the kid had just a great experience, as did I. And the mother was in tears telling me that day that she had seen her son change from running with the wrong group of kids and getting bad grades to running with a different crew, athletes, home on time, respectful of his mother, parents, and siblings, got better grades, and just had an unbelievable experience making not only the junior varsity team, but the varsity team, and had given him life, which is the same thing it did for me. So strong advocate, love the program to death. I think it's in good hands today, and I wish you all well. Enjoy 30 years of experience there. And today I think the thing about For Pure Acceleration Sports Training, now Athletic Republic, is 30 years later, it is still the best training program available anywhere in the world, bar none. Thank you.
I believe it was 1987 when John approached my administration seeking financial support for the development of his training program. Fortunately for John, St. Alexis turned him down, and he moved on to Fargo, where he had the freedom to fully develop his training concepts. Several years later, there was a significant amount of chatter in the track community about this guy who can make you faster by using treadmills and bungee cords. And frankly, I was becoming a bit tired of being asked why we didn't have a similar program in Bismarck. So it was my turn to go see John and to see if he would bring his program to the institution that had previously turned him down. And as we know, John graciously agreed, and we opened the first training facility May 21st, 1990. As we developed the Bismarck program, we quickly realized that duplicating a system which included proprietary equipment and proprietary protocols that required very specific staff training was not going to be easy. We had no idea on how much work was required to set up a new training facility. John and I spent countless hours on the phone and on the interstate between Fargo and Bismarck. We often joked about that John's greatest burden in this entire process was to train me so that I could train others. But he endured, and I'm so very grateful for the trust John had in me. I have met so many talented and passionate people who utilize the training principles of Athletic Republic and its founder, John Verpeer. I have gained more than I have given, and I am grateful. Congratulations, Athletic Republic, on 30 years.
I became aware of the For Pure Acceleration program in the fall of 1993 when my son Steve called from Minnesota to say, Dad, I'm taking this program to improve my hockey capability. You've got to come and see it. I'm on a hockey treadmill doing plyometrics and strength work. It's unbelievable. I'm quicker, I'm faster. My stamina in the third period, it's unbelievable. So I said, I better go check this out. And I went and see John Verpeer. Before I did that, I went and watched Steve on the ice, and I could see the difference myself. So then I went to John and said, John, I want to understand what you're doing. What's the science? Do you have any data to back it up? He said, absolutely, let's go through it. So we spent 4 hours going through this data. It was just a very wonderful and enjoyable discussion to be able to get into the physiology and the biomechanics and the physics of all that. Covered blood chemistry and muscle EMG measurements and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, the bottom line was, I want to do this. But I said, John, let's go have lunch and talk business so I can do this in Indiana. So here we are, 27 years later, still at it. Thank you, John Verpeer, for starting this wonderful program, and thank you, Charlie Graves, for continuing it. The leadership of you two has been tremendous. It's an awesome program. It really helps athletes. Thank you.
Well, the importance of using data in training is to document how the athlete's changing over time, good or bad. And what that allows a trainer to do then is to be able to individualize training as needed so the athlete can maximize their potential as an athlete. No two athletes are the same, and so the data from assessments allows the trainer to apply the art of training and maximize the training experience. So the important is, yes, validating and showing the kids that their hard work has paid off, and then as trainers that we're doing well, but it's also growth of a profession, it's a growth of a belief, it's a growth of a network that is really critically tied to good assessments.
I traveled to Fargo, North Dakota more than 22 years ago to meet John Frappier and learn about the acceleration training program. And my first impression, after we started talking about our mutual backgrounds as farm and ranch kids from North Dakota and Montana, is that John was just as passionate about helping athletes achieve their dreams as I was. But I got really excited when we started talking about the actual training program and how he had taken the universally accepted principles of speed, power, and stamina development and coupled them with the scientific literature on movement mechanics and neurological adaptation, and created a systematic methodology for administering those to athletes of all ages and abilities. Those concepts perfectly matched with my philosophy as a track and field coach, where it's really easy to do that, or easier to do that than it is particularly in team sports, because each athlete has their own unique situation and their own unique event that you're training for. So you sit down one-on-one with those athletes. And so it was easy for me to understand what John was talking about, but how he had put it into his system for training athletes of all sports, ages, and abilities was what was groundbreaking back in those days. And actually what it did, it became the first protocol-driven best practices sports training model in the world. And it is what has always set us apart from all of the training systems that have come and gone over the past 30 years. And it's what I believe will continue to set us apart and serve as the foundation for Athletic Republic's continued growth and development and influence on athletes in the years to come. So congratulations, AR, on 30 years, and go Team AR.